What's going on, everybody? Thank y'all so much for joining us here at Chad's Media for another episode of the Tyler Lennon Show. On behalf of everybody at Front Porch News and Chad's Media, I'm Tyler Lennon. We have a very special episode for you today with a very special guest. But before we get to that, I want to say a quick thank you to our sponsors for making this happen. Avco Roofing in Sulphur Springs, The Beauty Parlor in Sulphur Springs, Robin Boshears Chiropractic, and Realtor Lindsay Lee. Thank y'all so much for being our supporting sponsors, making all of this happen. Like I said, we have a very special guest. We have head coach of the Sulphur Springs Wildcats baseball team, Coach Hammack. Coach, thank you so much for joining us here today.
It's my pleasure, Tyler.
And I have to ask, you have been here since 2005. I feel like you've had some amazing memories, gotten to coach some amazing players. You mind walking us just through maybe a couple of your favorite memories, couple of players that you got to coach that really stick with you?
Well, of course, my very first team, we got out of the gate pretty good. We won the district championship. We went 10-0. Of course, your cousin, Josh Riley, was on that team, and just a phenomenal player. We had a lot of good players on that team.
Yes,
he was the unanimous district MVP. He's probably as good a high school hitter as I've ever seen in person. And so it was a lot of fun to stand in the third base box with that team because we scored a bunch of runs all the time. And I think, it ended in a disappointing way. Of course, it always does if you don't necessarily win it all. But I thought that team had the ability to kind of go pretty deep.
Yes.
Back then, you only had 3 teams make it, so the district champion got a bye.
Right.
So we didn't play that first week. And then we got beat in the second round, our first playoff series in 3 games. And it was such a letdown because that team was just ultra talented. And
yes, sir. Seeing them as a little kid, that was kind of my first experience with high school baseball. I just thought, I guess all high school baseball teams are this good.
No, they're not. And, especially scoring the runs that we did. I mean, we've had to have averaged double-digit runs just about every district ball game. And again, it was just such a fun experience and just a good way to be introduced into Sulphur Springs. And,
yes, sir.
And then just through the years, like you said, I won't be able to name everything. I'll forget something. But, I want to say it was around 2010, the Colby Suggs era. We had a really good team. Went 3 rounds deep, which I think was basically as far as anybody in the school had ever gone.
Yes, sir.
And that was a fun year. Of course, probably during your time at Raines, I had the Jackson twins and had a really good team with that. And then I guess
I may or may not wish I would have come and been a part of that team.
And I wish you would have too. I remembered playing against y'all that Saturday, thinking, man, I wish I could sure use him.
Yes,
but
sir.
I think you hit a double in the gap that game off of us. I don't have a good memory in a lot of ways, but baseball I can pretty well name just about anything that has happened. But anyway, moving forward, the Larry Pryor senior year with that group, we've made it to the next step. We got 4 rounds deep, which the school had never done, and that was an exciting time. We ended up getting beat by Prosper, who won it all.
Yes, sir.
And just a lot of great memories through the years. I think we were at least 2-time or 3-time district champs, co-district champs with the Ryan Humphreys years.
Yes, sir.
And some other good players during that time. So I've been very blessed to have both good assistants. Coach Silman has been with me for 15 of those years, and he's just been a loyal friend and a really good coach for us. And of course, your cousin again, Josh Riley, got into coaching and kind of started here, and I'm so happy for him in Gilmer, and he's doing a wonderful job there. And then just the players. I've had just great kids to work with, just coachable. And maybe not, we've had maybe a couple of Division I kids, so it's not like we've got that, but I like the kid that we have here in Sulphur Springs. They're going to go get it. They're above average players and like I said, coachable, and that's all you can really ask for. And I think we've built some great relationships through the years. Right. I love to win, but I'm going to tell you the best thing for me, a couple of things, is seeing former players come back into town and they'll text me they want to go eat. And we'll go out to eat, and most of the time we go to Broadway Buffet, and we can sit there for hours and just eat and talk.
Yes,
to me, those things mean more than the wins, even though those are nice.
Right.
And then just seeing people grow up and get married and have families, and I can see that they seem to be good husbands and good fathers, and they have jobs. And if I've played any part whatsoever in that part of their life as their experience here with me, then I would say that's even more important than any win could ever be.
Yes, sir. We kind of talk about some of the former teams you've had, former players you've had. For anyone watching that hasn't gotten a chance to see your team this year, what kind of can they expect in terms of just style of play, the type of kids you have right now?
Well, again, I think we have the same kind of kid, just great group of kids. This is my youngest daughter is a senior, so it's her grade, which for whatever reason, you kind of get to know those kids a little bit better. And they're super kids, and we spend a lot of time together, so it's nice that you can like them, and I like every one of them, and I love every one of them. I've tried to base every team I've had off of pitching and defense. I think if you can do both of those things, you can find ways to score runs. And so we're hopefully, and we're a work in progress. We're not where we want to be yet. But that's what we try to attain is that. And then maybe take advantage of your opponent's mistakes. Baseball's probably the one game I can think of that games are most of the time lost than they are won, if that makes sense. People making errors or pitchers walking people. And so just try to win what we call the freebie war. We want to be a team that can take advantage of mistakes and then in turn not make as many mistakes as our opponents. So it's a team that I think, you can tell loves the game, and they're going to play it hard. Which those are always,
to me, not only as someone who covers, but just as a fan of baseball, those are always the teams that are most fun to watch.
Correct. And I tell you over the years, and I'm not saying it's me, it's part me, it's part assistants, it's part players. We compete with teams that are normally better than us because I think we do those things, the little things, well. Hallsville is always just ultra talented.
Yes, sir.
But we practically split with them every year. They don't really like playing us. We've swept them in the playoffs when we weren't in their district. So I think these kids are able to kind of raise their level of play, maybe play beyond what we're normally would be capable of because, again, I think we're good as teammates. We play together and we just play for for fun and just get out there and compete. And I think we do a good job over the course of a season of just constantly getting better. And that's what we always try to do. Just get to a point where, in tournament play, you're just trying to find yourself. But we want to be hitting on all cylinders, district play, and then just continue to get better into the playoffs. And we've been able to do that most of the time.
Yes, sir. You mentioned district play. I want to get into that with you in just 1 second. But first, I want to hear a quick word from our sponsors for making all this happen. Then we'll be right back with more from Coach Hammack.
Hi, I'm Lindsay Lee, realtor at Caldwell Banker Watson Company in Sulphur Springs. Born and raised in Hopkins County, I am the small town realtor you are looking for to help buy or sell your home. I specialize in farm and ranch, residential, and lake properties. Contact me today and let me do the work for you. Get your key with Lindsay Lee.
Hi, I'm Audra Clark, owner and stylist of The Beauty Parlor. We are located at 206 West Shannon Road in Sulphur Springs, Texas. We are Tony and Guy trained and we specialize in custom cut and color. You're already beautiful. Come let us highlight it.
I am Dr. Robin Boshiers Patrick, located at Lone Star Clinic. I am a Sulphur Springs, Texas native, and I am dedicated to serving the chiropractic needs of my community. Call me today to set up your appointment, and let's get you straightened out.
At Avco Roofing, we strive to fulfill our mission statement of protecting homes, strengthening families, and building community. It's more than a slogan. It's the heartbeat of who we are and how we serve our customers. Located in Sulphur Springs near I-30 and Broadway, there's no project we can't handle. Call Avco Roofing for all your home and commercial property needs.
All right, we're back with Coach Hammack. Coach, you had a very interesting year last year. You were very close. You found yourself in a three-way tie for third place last year and just barely on the outside looking in. How much do you think that will carry over into this year, and what are some things you might have to do differently or better to, get that playoff spot this time?
Well, I think it will help us because we've got a lot of returning starters who have been in the fire that, if you remember, you go back 2 years in the COVID year and it was kind of cut short. A lot of those guys that are seniors were sophomores. Their season got cut short, and then we're expecting them to play varsity baseball the next year. And I thought they competed, well. We got better as the season went along. We end up having the district pitcher of the year in Hayden Hurst. He went 5-1. The one thing that we couldn't do, and that rests solely on my shoulders, is we've always been able to develop number 2 pitchers, number 3, number 4. And last year, for the first time in my 17 years or so here, we could not get a consistent number 2. And again, that's on my shoulders. So consequently only won 2 games in district outside of Hayden Hurst 5. So you're right. We caught in there with a 3-way tie. Marshall was just lights out in the second round. I think they went 5-1 to get them to 7.
Yes, sir.
If anybody else would have beaten them that second round, it wouldn't have mattered, but it did. And we just fell on the wrong side of the tiebreaker rule that we have. We've actually benefited from that rule in years past, so I can't fault the rule. It's been a kind of both ways. So this group is kind of the same scenario. We've got to find the 2, the 3, the 4, which is kind of what you're trying to do in your scrimmages and your tournaments.
Yes, I was going to ask, how much do you find that out during the tournament play?
You pretty much find it out, because you really have to go into that first week of district play knowing who your Friday starter is.
Yes, sir.
And so, we're getting close, but hopefully we get good weather and we get this last tournament in, because it might make all the difference in the world of kind of, feeling like we're in a good place. Like we pretty much have a 1, I would say, but after that, it's something that we've just got to get pretty quickly.
Yes, sir. This will be your final year at the 5A level. How big, in your opinion, would it be to make the playoffs this final year at 5A before moving to 4A?
Well, I think it would be a great deal. That's what we're trying to ultimately do. Right. I hate to lose. The only person I know hates to lose more than me is probably my wife. But what we're trying to do is tournaments are important. I want to win, but I'm just trying to get the team together.
Yes, sir.
Figure out who needs to be where. There's an old saying, we're not playing our 9 best players. We're just trying to find our best 9 that fit together, and that's what we're doing in preseason. We want to win, but we want to figure that out more importantly. And getting into district, obviously, we want to do a good job and do enough to get in. I felt like over the years, when we get in and we're kind of hitting our peak, there are a lot of teams that don't really like to play us, even though they may be a little more talented. But again, I just think we do some things that throughout the course of the year and then together as a team where maybe we play a little bit better than our individual parts. And I think we're capable of getting in. And not only do I think that, I think we are capable of, advancing. It's just a matter of just consistency is really what we need to focus on.
Yes, sir. I wanted to ask, we kind of mentioned, you'll be moving to 4A quickly or soon. What are some of the things that you're looking most forward to? Because I think some people hear, you're dropping from 5A to 4A. That doesn't necessarily mean easier or anything like that, but what are some of the things you are looking forward to?
It definitely doesn't mean easier, Tyler, because our district will be the best 4A baseball district in the state of Texas. Obviously, you have Texarkana Pleasant Grove, who just won the 4A state title a year ago.
I can remember.
That's correct. Well, the other regional finalist was also a district opponent in Liberty Ilo. Wow. And of course, the 2 parish schools are always competitive. Pittsburgh is in there, so really, it's Gilmer's moving out and we're moving in for that district, and so. People assume that it will be an easier road. And granted, there's nobody in this district, say, as good as a Hallsville, but every one of them are a quality team and a quality program. So I'm under no illusion that things just got easier. We're still going to have to do the things that it takes to win ball games and practice well and, again, do all the little things. So I'm looking forward to it. Exciting just because it's different.
Yes, sir.
We've pretty much been in the same district for most of my 17 years, and certainly the odd thing is going to be we've never not been with Texas Higher Mount Pleasant. So
yes, sir.
that's going to be a first. But, the same players in the game, we've always seemed to be in there with Hallsville and Pine Tree and Marshall and all of those. So, I'll miss a lot of those guys because I've developed some friendships with this district and with these coaches, but at the same time, I look forward to some new challenges.
Yes, sir. One last thing I want to ask before we let you get out of here, bringing it back to this season, we've got district on the way soon. For any fans out there who are watching, is there anything you'd like to say? Just, what to expect from your team, coming to watch your team, just anything like that?
Well, obviously, you'd like to get off to a really good start, and we're fortunate that our first 2 district ball games are at home. And so Hopefully the weather will be great. It is spring break, so I know people travel. But I would really hope that we could get, a good crowd out. We have a nice facility, of course, nice park. And I think, these guys will play an enjoyable type of game to watch. And, of course, Mount Pleasant, a rival for many years, is showing up first. And then a lot of respect for Texas High coming in on Friday. And so I think you would see two really good ball games. And like I said, we need a home field advantage, and you really need to win your games at home.
Right.
And so we need to get off to a good start. So hopefully we'll get a good crowd.
Yes, sir. I might be biased, but I can't think of a better way to spend it than when the weather's nice, get to go watch some baseball. I can't think of a better way to spend time.
I agree with you. I can't either.
Yes, sir. Coach, thank you so much for joining us here today. We really appreciate it, and we're very excited to be covering your team coming out to the games this year, but thank you for making the time.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Tyler.
And thank all of y'all for watching. Y'all stay tuned. We have plenty of more content here on Chad's Media throughout the rest of the month, and like we just said, come out and support Coach Hammack and the Wildcats. Until then, we'll see y'all next time.